Minister, I welcome the bill which largely tidies up the Mulcreevy problem and ensures that the primary legislation now complies with statutory instruments enacted. I also welcome the move of heritage to the Department of Housing, and as my colleague Para Tobin has highlighted the O'Reilly House and what happened there, I think will be beneficial now that housing has oversight and heritage are close by. I understand the Minister will still be allowed to put on a heritage hat and make comment on proposed planning applications where there is heritage aspects involved. And indeed, the Minister will be able to ask for full heritage studies in advance of SDZ zoning or before Board Planola take note of applications, and I think this is to be welcomed. We have a very rich and historical heritage in Ireland, and we must do our best to protect it. It is the envy of the world and one of the main drivers of foreign tourism into Ireland. Under the bill as well, there is support for the broadcasting sector, and I would, as other deputies have done, like to call for support to our Waterford radio stations, WLR FM and Beat FM in Waterford. They provide tremendous public and community service. They have, like a lot of businesses, seen a plummeting of their revenue, their advertising revenue, and I would ask that government continue to provide support to these businesses and to the sector. If I can go back to heritage just for a moment and talk about heritage in my own county, and Waterford City is the oldest city in the country, going back 1100 years. And in the environs of the city, we have the oldest Viking site in the country, and probably the largest Viking site from the 850 AD outside of Europe. There are plans in the future to put hopefully some interpretation on this, and I hope that the department will look very supportively in terms of revenue support for that. I would also like to highlight two other initiatives presently ongoing in Waterford. These are the development of a new time museum and a silver museum. And the Time Museum, I hope, will soon be designated the National Irish Horological Museum in the country. And I now personally put forward an invite to both ministers, Noonan and O'Brien, to come to Waterford for the opening of this museum. We have examples of clockmaking, European clockmaking going back to 1550. And Irish clockmaking going back to 1680, unparalleled exhibits anywhere else in the country, and I hope that they will help to drive the tourism. And indeed, we're also opening the new Waterford Silver Museum, which is Irish and British European silver, unique again in Europe, some parts of it. And I would say to the Minister and commend the previous government for the Finance Act 1003, and credit must go to the government which has allowed people to claim tax benefits there and to provide exhibits to that museum. I would also echo Deputy Tobin's comments and previous comments about the Moore Street situation, and again I'm another deputy who would like to see support for that centre and for plans to be developed in order to protect its structures. Just on another point in terms of heritage, and it will come up shortly, I think under the National Climate Bill, we will be looking at the issues of landscaping in terms of heritage. And I would point out that in the south of Ireland we have a very different topography to what you see in the west. We have a significant amounts of hedgerows, and I'm wondering how these are going to be calculated in the climate bill. Maybe discussion for another day, but I flag it here today that we have significant hedgerows. They are part of carbon sequestering, and I would like to see how they are documented within the climate bill. And I would also highlight that there is maritime legislation going through at the moment which is opening up the country to significant wind development, particularly along the south, south-east and south-west coasts. And again, within our national climate strategy, we haven't spoken about government's interaction with international data centres. And I would contend that a lot of the wind generation that we are proposing to put offshore is going to be used up in powering these data centres. And in essence, there will be no green coupon for Ireland in terms of climate mitigation. And this again is something that I hope this department can take up with the Departments of Finance, with the Departments of Climate Action, and to make sure that we have a strategy that makes sense going forward. So, as said, I welcome this largely technical bill, and as I said, I extend a very warm welcome to both ministers to come to Waterford when we open our Time Museum very shortly. And as I say, I hope it will be designated in the future the National Horological Society of Ireland. Thank you very much indeed.